If your life feels like it's falling apart, if doors are closing, if the people you counted on have grown silent, and if everything you touch seems to slip from your hands, I must tell you, you are not being destroyed, you are being tested. And more than that, you are being chosen. Chosen for a blessing so great that it demands your full transformation before it can be placed in your hands. But listen closely, truly listen, because there is a difference between hearing these words and letting them rearrange the very structure of your thinking. A man may hear truth 100 times and remain unchanged, but the one who listens, who sits still, who opens his mind, who allows each sentence to strike the core of his being, that man walks away different. And this speech will not serve the man who merely hears. It was written for the man who listens as if his future depends on it, because it does. There are divine laws in motion right now, laws that do not bow to emotion or convenience, laws that reward only the man who endures the fire with faith. And what I am about to reveal to you are the 7 unmistakable signs that God is preparing you for that reward. If you ignore these signs, you may abandon the test before the blessing is delivered. You may misread your preparation as punishment and quit one moment too soon. But if you listen, really listen, you will see your present trial for what it truly is. Not a curse, but a calling. You will gain the ability to hold on while others let go. You will rise where others shrink. You will recognize the rhythm of testing as the prelude to the symphony of success. And when that blessing comes, because it will, you will not be surprised. You will be ready. So I ask you, are you willing to listen, not with ears, but with decision, with desire, with discipline? Because if you are, you may hear something today that changes the entire course of your life, but miss it, and you may remain stuck for another year, another decade, another lifetime. The choice is yours. Listen, and take your place among those who are destined for greatness. Introduction, the furnace of faith. Why every great blessing requires a great test. If life feels harder now than it ever has before, then I must tell you, your blessing is closer than it has ever been. The heat you feel is not destruction, it is refinement. You are being tested, not abandoned. For no man receives greatness until he proves he can endure the weight of preparation without surrender. Do you believe that success comes freely? That riches fall from the heavens into the hands of the indifferent? I tell you plainly, no such thing occurs in this world or the next. Every blessing carries weight, and that weight must be earned, not by luck, not by inheritance, but by passing through fire with faith. The road to greatness is never paved with ease. It is guarded by delay, surrounded by fear, shrouded in darkness, and lined with every temptation to turn back. Why? Because only the man who moves forward through all this is worthy of what lies ahead. Only he is capable of holding the power he desires without losing himself in it. You must understand that the trial is not a trap. It is a gate. It is a furnace through which weak metals melt and pure gold is revealed. The difficulty you face is not in your way. It is the way. God does not test a man to hurt him. He tests him to reveal him. For until you know what you are made of, how can you hold what you are praying for? A blessing too early becomes a burden. That is why the universe delays. That is why infinite intelligence waits. A man cannot build an empire with the spirit of a beggar. He must first become definite in thought, unwavering in aim, and forged in endurance. The test you are under is not punishment. It is transformation. The waiting season, as men call it, is the most sacred classroom on earth. It is where you learn the discipline of stillness. It is where your thoughts must be commanded into order. It is where the lazy are exposed and the faithful are refined. What feels like delay is divine preparation for a life you cannot yet comprehend. Henry Ford did not walk into greatness. He was shaped for it. He was laughed at, doubted, bankrupt, and betrayed. But he refused to drift. He acted on his definite chief aim when all others quit. And when the world caught up to his vision, he was already prepared because the furnace had done its work. Let me tell you this. God will not place a crown upon the head of a man who cannot carry the weight of discipline. He will not fill your hands with riches if your mind is still filled with fear. He will not multiply what you cannot manage. The test is not in the outer world. It is in you. If you cry out for elevation, expect pressure. If you ask for abundance, expect to be made responsible. If you pray for influence, expect your character to be sharpened. For with every spiritual request comes a trial that asks, how badly do you want it? And that trial will demand everything you are. Every successful man you admire was tested before he was trusted. Carnegie, Edison, Rockefeller, they all walked through storms of criticism, scarcity, and solitude before they held power. The world only saw the outcome. But the test, oh, the test, was where the foundation was truly laid. There is a spiritual law that governs this process. No reward without readiness. And readiness is not proclaimed. It is proven. It is revealed when a man holds to his vision in darkness, when he speaks belief while surrounded by silence, when he chooses forward motion though nothing around him moves. Your present pain is not a contradiction of your future promise. It is the confirmation of it. The deeper the pressure, the higher the purpose. The longer the delay, the greater the reward. You are not being destroyed. You are being developed, and the difference lies in what you believe. Do you see now? Every trial is a question. Every delay is a mirror. Every setback is a chisel. The hand of God is not absent. It is actively shaping you. You cannot hold greatness with a fragile grip. You cannot pour wisdom into a cracked vessel. That is why this furnace exists. And the longer you resist the test, the longer the delay. The blessing cannot be forced. It can only be earned. So submit your fear to faith. Submit your complaint to decision. Submit your excuses to purpose. This is the only way to rise, for every success must be built upon inner victory. Do not envy the man who rose easily. His fall will come just as fast. Envy the man who endured, who was tried, who held to faith when all things failed. That man is unshakable. That man has power. That man is who you are becoming if you choose to endure the fire. This is why I tell you, again and again, you must have a definite chief aim. Without it, you will wander in this season of testing and call it suffering. But with it, you will understand the pressure as divine. You will see the heat as a sign that your gold is near the surface. Speak these words aloud with me now. I am not being punished. I am being prepared. Every trial is a sign that I am worthy of greatness. I endure the fire. I welcome the furnace. I pass the test. And remember this, God does not bless your comfort. He blesses your capacity. And that capacity is being formed in this very moment, if you will let it. Sign number 1, you are being stripped of all comfort. When God begins preparing a man for greatness, the first thing he removes is comfort. Not because comfort is evil, but because it makes a man soft. A man wrapped in ease never discovers the edge of his own potential, so God takes what you lean on. He removes what you cling to. He shakes the ground beneath you so you will rise and build on rock, not sand. The first test is always subtraction, and it comes when you are most unaware. One day you awaken to find that what once felt certain is now uncertain. The job disappears. The bank account dries up. The relationships dissolve. The plans that once gave you peace suddenly collapse, and you are left standing in a silence that demands an answer from within. This moment is not a curse. It is a sign. You are being stripped not for punishment, but for power. You are being pruned so that you may grow. For no man can carry out a definite purpose while still entangled in the cushions of mediocrity. And nothing reveals the fire of purpose faster than the sting of discomfort. You may say, why is this happening to me? And I tell you, it is happening for you. You have asked for growth. This is the answer. You have asked for greatness. This is the preparation. You have asked for abundance. This is the awakening. For only when a man is forced to stand alone does he discover whether his foundation is faith or fantasy. Abraham Lincoln was not born in a mansion. He was born in a log cabin. No silver spoon, no applause, no shortcut. His early life was loss upon loss, death, poverty, and defeat. But from that furnace emerged a man who could carry the burden of a nation. His pain was not a disqualification. It was proof of preparation. And so I ask you, what are you reaching for in the dark? Are you trying to rebuild your comfort, or are you ready to build your character? Are you mourning what was lost, or have you begun preparing for what must be gained? Because this season will not last forever, but how you move in it will define the man you become. This is the secret most never grasp. Desire is not born in luxury. It is born in lack. It is born in that sacred moment where the world says no, and your soul shouts yes with nothing to back it but belief. If you wait for comfort to commit, you will wait forever. But if you choose faith in the storm, you will emerge as a man no storm can touch. The 6 ghosts of fear will visit you in this hour. Poverty will whisper lies. Criticism will call you foolish. Ill health will sap your strength. But I say again, stand firm. This is the proving ground. This is the gate to power. This is the place where you declare yourself not a victim of life, but a master of thought. You will never discover what you're truly made of until the world has taken its hands off you. For as long as you depend on man's approval or the world's comfort or your current conditions, you will never be free. The man who commands wealth is not the man who was handed ease. It is the man who stood up when there was no reason left to stand. Comfort dulls the vision, but discomfort clarifies it. It reveals what matters. It calls the voice of purpose out of the pit, and it awakens a burning desire not for escape, but for elevation. For the man who walks through discomfort without breaking, without drifting, without losing faith, that man is being watched. That man is being prepared. The hour has come for decision. Will you sit in the ashes and wait for someone to rescue you? Or will you rise, not with excuses, but with purpose? Will you beg for comfort to return, or will you thank God for the fire that made you focus? Because the man you become now will be the man entrusted with the next level of life. I have seen this pattern unfold in every great success. The stripping comes before the strengthening. The silence comes before the voice. The discomfort comes before the breakthrough. It is law. It is order, and it does not fail. But only the man with eyes to see and faith to act will recognize the blessing hidden in the blow. So welcome the loss, not with despair, but with determination. Welcome the silence, not with fear, but with faith. Welcome the test, not with doubt, but with discipline. Because what has been taken from you is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the removal of the unnecessary so that the essential can rise. And you, my friend, are essential to a purpose greater than what you've yet seen. But you must walk through this stage with boldness, with decision, with clarity. Say aloud with me now, I do not fear the loss of comfort. I welcome discomfort as proof of my coming power. I am being refined. I am being rebuilt. I am being readied. This is how a new foundation is laid, not with bricks of ease, but with the stone of endurance. Comfort will return, yes, but it will return under your command, and you will never again serve it. You will make it serve you. Sign number 2, delays multiply, yet your vision won't let you quit. What do you do when it takes twice as long as you thought? What do you do when the doors remain shut, the progress halts, and the world offers only silence in return for your labor? If your first instinct is to doubt, then you have not yet understood the purpose of delay. Delay is not denial. It is the sifting ground where desire is tested and refined. When God intends to bless a man greatly, he does not answer quickly. He waits, he observes, he listens, not to your words, but to your will. Will you stay the course? Will you speak faith even when time mocks you? Will you hold fast when nothing moves? This is not cruelty. This is confirmation. You are being proven, not punished. Delay is heaven's question. Do you still want it? Not with comfort, not with applause, not with external support, but with fire in the belly and steel in the spine. The man who quits in the delay proves he never believed in the vision. But the man who holds fast while the hours stretch, while the answers stall, he is the man being prepared. There is a kind of spiritual defiance you must develop, a holy refusal to let go of what you saw in the vision, even when your circumstances contradict it. This is the power of autosuggestion, to stand before the mirror, look into your own eyes, and declare, I will not quit. I will not retreat. I will not abandon my purpose. You see, infinite intelligence does not answer doubt. It answers faith. And faith is proven only by repetition of thought, of belief, of action, despite delay. If you only believe when it's easy, your faith is shallow. But when the days turn to months, and the months to years, and your belief still burns, then the universe must respond. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times in his pursuit of the electric light, but he refused to accept the word failure. He called each delay a lesson, each defeat an instruction. And it was because he persisted through the rhythm of delay that he earned the right to illuminate the world. That is not accident. That is law. The law of hypnotic rhythm states that thoughts repeated often enough become fixed patterns. If your reaction to delay is discouragement, that will become your habit. But if your response is faith, then faith becomes your rhythm. And a man whose rhythm is faith cannot be stopped. Not by time, not by man, not by adversity. This is where most abandon their aim. They mistake divine timing for denial. They compare their speed to others and grow weary. But the blessing does not come when you want it. It comes when you are ready. And readiness is measured not in months, but in mastery of your emotions, your thoughts, your persistence. Every great achievement you admire was delayed, not to taunt the man pursuing it, but to temper him, to strengthen his focus, to develop his identity. For when the vision comes to pass, it must rest in the hands of a man who has outlasted time, not one who was flattered into action, but one who refused to stop when no one believed. The delay will tempt you to settle. It will whisper, take something easier. It will offer you imitation blessings, half-built, incomplete, small enough to satisfy the weak. But you must respond with decision. You must say, I did not start this to quit. I did not receive this vision to abandon it halfway. I am the man who finishes. This is the difference between the dreamer and the doer. The dreamer complains about delay. The doer converts it into discipline. The dreamer says, maybe it wasn't meant to be. The doer says, it's not finished yet, because I'm not finished yet. Delay is only deadly to those who never truly desired what they claimed to pursue. And here is a great secret. When delay appears, speak faster. When progress halts, plan harder. When time resists you, outwork time. Do not match the rhythm of stagnation. Override it. Push through, because eventually the gate will open, not for the man who waited, but for the man who kept walking anyway. There is a law in nature. No seed breaks the earth on the day it is planted. It is buried. It is hidden. It is delayed. But below the surface, where no man sees, a miracle is forming. And one day it breaks through, not because the earth gave way, but because the seed refused to stop growing. You are that seed, and this delay is not a grave, it is a womb. The birth of your greatness is near, but it cannot be rushed. It cannot be tampered with, and it must not be abandoned. For the moment you walk away is often the moment the roots were just about to break free. Let these words be etched in your spirit. I am the type of man who finishes what he begins. I outlast time through faith. My delay is not death. It is development. I will not quit. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Repeat them daily. Because what you say during delay becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you attract. No man climbs the mountain who cannot wait for the storm to pass. No man inherits power without first mastering the test of time. The blessing will not be early, but it will be exact. It will arrive the moment your character is large enough to receive it. And if it has not come yet, it only means that you are not done yet. So do not curse the delay. Use it. And one day you will look back and say, I am who I am because I did not quit when everything told me to. Sign number 3, you are surrounded by doubters and criticism. If you find yourself surrounded by doubters, critics, and small minds who cannot see your vision, do not despair. Rejoice. It means you are walking a path too large for the average man to comprehend. God will not elevate you without first teaching you to walk alone among those who misunderstand you, and even among those who mock you. The test of criticism is one of the fiercest. It does not strike the body. It strikes the mind. It whispers, what if they're right? It tempts you to shrink, to soften your words, to dim your light. But make no mistake, criticism is the fire in which belief is purified. For only the man who has faced mockery and stayed the course is worthy of the crown. You must understand this law. The man who cannot withstand doubt from others is still ruled by doubt within. Critics are merely the reflection of your own subconscious hesitation, and God will allow their voices to echo until you decide to silence them by action, not argument. Do you think Andrew Carnegie was celebrated in the beginning? He was mocked as a naive idealist. When he placed his faith in a young man with no fortune, they called him a fool. But that belief gave birth to principles that would transform the world. He was not deceived. He was certain. And certainty offends those who live in hesitation. You will be called arrogant. You will be called crazy. You will be called unrealistic. And these are the highest compliments a drifting world can give to a man of vision. For when the crowd does not recognize your aim, it means your aim comes from a higher source. It means you have not conformed to smallness. Doubt is a universal language among the unsuccessful. They use it to protect themselves from the responsibility of belief. For if they can pull you down with their words, they no longer have to rise by their actions. But I warn you, never fight with critics. Rise beyond them. Prove them wrong by your result, not your rebuttal. Faith must not require validation. If it does, it is not faith. It is approval seeking. The man who is moved by public opinion will never build anything the public will one day admire, because greatness is always ridiculed before it is respected. That is the law. That is the pattern. And you must obey it with joy. There is no success without misunderstanding. There is no vision without rejection. There is no elevation without separation. You cannot bring everyone with you, and you were never meant to. Some were placed in your life to be the resistance you must push through, not the wind beneath your wings. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Accurate thinking requires you to separate fact from opinion. And criticism is almost always opinion, shaped by fear, by jealousy, or by limitation. If a man has not walked your path, he has no authority to define it. If he has not carried your burden, he cannot measure your calling. Criticism does not define your worth. It reveals theirs. It shows how small a man must think to attack what he does not understand. But if you internalize that smallness, you will begin to shrink. You will begin to second guess. You will begin to apologize for the very dream God placed in your spirit. And that is the danger. Not their words, but your reaction to them. The man who allows himself to be swayed by every sneer will never hold dominion. The man who changes course with every opinion will never build a straight road. You must fix your gaze. You must harden your decision. You must move regardless. Repeat after me now. I hear the voices of doubt, and still I press forward. My faith is louder than the world's fear. My aim is clear. My vision is divine. I do not seek their approval. I follow my purpose. There is more power in one man with a definite chief aim than in 1,000 critics with none. And the irony is that one day, those same critics will marvel at what you've built.